This video presents declassified and licensed material of the Global Institute of Logic and Cybernetics.
Current global infrastructure is failing. Institutional registries, national archives, and computational models are built on static documents and isolated servers, fragmenting under the weight of increasing scale and complexity. Three specific threats are accelerating this collapse. First, artificial intelligence operates without halting guarantees. A halting guarantee is a mathematical proof ensuring a computational process will eventually stop rather than spiral infinitely. Second, legal frameworks are degrading through semantic drift, which is the gradual loss of original meaning as laws are translated or updated over time. Finally, current encryption standards are approaching the quantum breakpoint. This is the exact moment when quantum computers achieve enough processing power to break existing public key cryptography. This formula illustrates the non-coexistential system design theorem. It proves that any system attempting to integrate two unverified competing logical paradigms is mathematically guaranteed to collapse under recursive updates. Attempting to patch these legacy systems only compounds the structural errors. Civilizational continuity requires abandoning these vulnerable layers entirely and establishing a completely irreversible mathematical foundation. Digital Fabrica Theory provides that foundation. It replaces subjective probabilistic consensus with an architecture governed by absolute mathematical verification. This diagram displays the architecture's irreducible primitive, the H14 hexagonal tensor cell. This structure eliminates central hubs and hierarchical layers entirely. Instead, it embeds 14 radial dimensions, including physical energy, computation, and provenance, into a single lawful geometry, permanently locking ethics and governance on opposing axes. Within this cell, operations run on loom dynamics. State changes occur as continuous fiber flows rather than traditional execution calls. This specific flow is governed by the infinite digital structure theorem, which mathematically guarantees ordinal boundedness. Ordinal boundedness is a strict constraint that prevents recursive sequences from diverging into infinite loops or chaotic states. By enforcing these geometric invariants, isolated silos of science, law, and governance are structurally forced into a single, computable, and contradiction-resistant fabric. Traditional mutable documents can no longer secure institutional truth. They are replaced here by the scroll, an atomic, mathematically verifiable unit of executable knowledge. This diagram tracks how a scroll is processed. Every proposed policy, theorem, or contract must pass through a 7-layer sequence called the quantum kernel cascade. It is structurally gated, moving first through the K0 structural validation and the K1 signature verification before reaching the K2 ethics kernel. At this layer, the system scans for logical alignment. The ethics kernel mechanically detects contradictory logic and physically rejects it, ensuring only internally coherent data merges into the permanent ledger. Surviving data is then sealed using TauCrypt, a cryptographic protocol utilizing Ramanujan graph topology. Ramanujan graph topology is a highly connected mathematical network structure that provides extreme resistance to decryption, granting the system immunity against post-quantum attacks. Every scroll that clears this cascade is cryptographically sealed with an immutable timestamp. Institutional memory becomes entirely tamper-proof, semantically traceable, and isolated from human corruption and AI hallucination. This diagram details the dual-hand organism deployment model. By separating the custody of the ethics kernel within a non-profit structure from the commercial-scale operations, the architecture mathematically prevents systemic capital capture. For a nation to implement this, the operational requirements are strict but minimal. The jurisdiction must install exactly one regional scroll node and certify a local validator quorum. A validator quorum is a designated group of authenticated local authorities required to digitally sign and verify new network entries. Legacy frameworks are already fracturing under recursive scale. Deploying the Fabrica architecture immediately insulates a state's digital sovereignty from that inevitable collapse. Irreversible systems do not fear the collapse of the past. They are immune to it by design.